What is good, YouTube, and welcome back to a brand new video. So another team has just been eliminated from the playoffs, and of course that is the Miami Heat. Unfortunately, game 4 was kind of disastrous and a little embarrassing. I honestly turned the game off after the first quarter because it was so bad. You guys know who we're talking about. It is the Miami Heat, so let's go ahead and jump in and talk about the Miami Heat this offseason because it could be a very interesting one, as it could go in many different ways. So let's go ahead and jump in and do this Miami Heat offseason rebuild in NBA 2K25. Before we get into today's video, make sure you guys drop a like on this one and subscribe if you're new to this channel. As always, greatly appreciated. We're currently on the road to 50,000 subs, and YouTube tells me about 56% of the people that watch these videos don't actually subscribe to this channel, which is wild. So if you fall in that 56%, want to change that, that'd be greatly appreciated. So I'm recording this immediately after Warriors and Rockets game 4. What a classic that was. Crazy game. Some of these playoff series have been absolutely amazing, but you would never know it because they're all like 3-1 right now, which sucks. Obviously, Pacers and Bucks hasn't been that great. Knicks and Pistons has been awesome. Orlando, Boston's been okay, but obviously Houston, Golden State's been awesome. Minnesota and LA has been awesome as well. But we're talking about the Miami Heat today, so that's all besides the point at this stage. So the Miami Heat have themselves a very interesting offseason. Obviously, there's 3 paths they could go, 2 paths, whatever you want to say. Either they go star hunting and bring in another superstar. They had Jimmy Butler. Obviously, that came crumbling this year. They had some good times with him. Unfortunately, it's all gone now. Or you maybe just hit the reset button, which is something the Miami Heat haven't really done. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. To me, I feel like the only way the Miami Heat could really salvage the team they currently have is if they traded for Giannis Antetokounmpo if he became available, which is something that could potentially happen. But I'm going to be honest. The odds of me being able to trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo in this rebuild are very slim, obviously. So I low-key think I might hit the reset button for the Miami Heat here. I think I might trade Bam Adebayo, and I might trade Tyler Herro, especially Tyler Herro right now with the way he's been playing. So he could have some pretty decent value at the moment with his peak value maybe being as high as it could be. Potentially, maybe if you ask somebody else, they would say, hell no, I ain't trading Tyler Herro, which I would understand. But let's go ahead and get to the lottery. I'm pretty sure our pick is going to the Thunder this offseason, if I'm not mistaken, and we'll have our pick next year, which is why I think I'm comfortable with hitting the reset button, but I got to make sure that's correct. So the 15th overall pick is, in fact, going to Oklahoma City this offseason, which is what I thought. Jazz have number 1, 2 Hornets, 3 Pelicans. And do we have our 2026 first? Because if we don't, we do. So we have the Warriors pick in this draft as well. We do have our 2026 first. Now, as far as 2027 is concerned, that is going to, I believe, Charlotte from the Rozier. Is it the Rozier trade? I think it is from the Rozier trade, but I'm pretty sure that pick is protected. So we actually have the ability to hit the reset button here with our picks, being able to, we could capitalize on it because 2027, yeah, it's a lot protected. So we can tank for the next 2 years if we really wanted to because we have our picks, which is great. So I think that's going to be the best route I would suggest the Miami Heat taking. Now, do I think they're going to take that route? Probably not. But I think in this one, that is the route I'm going to take. I'm going to trade Tyler Herro, and I'm going to trade Bam Adebayo. And we're going to hit the reset button on this team because I think that's the best possible way to take this team, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's just what I think. Again, you could trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo, but I'm not going to be able to pull that off in 2K. Obviously, it's going to be really hard to do that. So the other alternative is to trade the 2 guys, and I think we're going to start with the Herro trade on draft night. So I am starting here with Tyler Herro, and we have this offer on the table with the Pistons where they would send me Jaden Ivey and a lottery-protected 2026 first. Honestly, I actually kind of like this return a lot. I'm not going to lie. Jaden Ivey could be a really interesting player to bring in here, give him an opportunity, and then Detroit can get themselves a second option next to Cade Cunningham. I kind of like the idea of it. I don't know if Herro would be like the second option I'd be going for if I'm Detroit. But Herro would still make a ton of sense there, and that doesn't have to be their only move. So they give me a 2026 lottery protected and Jaden Ivey. Honestly, I want to squeeze more out of this, but I think this is a pretty solid return. We get off Herro's contracts entirely as well. Ivy's going to have to be paid, obviously, too. But I'm more than down for this. So Tyler Herro is going to be moved for Jaden Ivey and a protected first-round pick that could be unprotected in the future as well. So I love that quite a bit. So Jaden Ivey, welcome to Miami. We get younger, and that should make for an interesting turn of events with Herro gone. Now, for Bam Adebayo, which I'm expecting a lot more in return for Bam, obviously. So let's go ahead and get to moving him as well. So now that we traded Tyler Herro, we're clearly moving to the Bam Adebayo trade, and there was one offer in particular that caught my attention, and it's this one with the Pelicans. This one is intriguing for many reasons. Zion Williamson will more than likely be moved this offseason by the Pelicans. Could the Miami Heat and the Pelicans come up with something where a Bam Adebayo for Zion swap? Does that make sense? I could see it making sense because the Pelicans don't necessarily need to. I guess they have some good players. They have DeJounte Murray coming off an injury. They have Trey Murphy, Herb Jones. So they have a pretty solid team. The one thing they haven't had is health, obviously. And Zion Williamson's been a problem with that. So if we traded Bam Adebayo in our 2029 first for Zion Williamson, it's interesting. Now, I don't know if I love trading a first round pick. I don't know if we could maybe just do like a swap somehow where it's just Bam for Zion swap. I mean, it would be an interesting one, but I kind of like the idea of it. Now, Zion in Miami doesn't sound like the best place for him for off the court reasons, not, any basketball reasons in particular. But I'm going to see what a swap would look like just for these two. So they want to offer me, they want the same offer. So Jaden Ivey, we are going to try to get away with this. Maybe we just give a second, and let's say we gave them Haywood Highsmith. I don't know if Haywood Highsmith makes a difference, but Bam Adebayo is second, Haywood Highsmith for Zion. Just like that, we have completed a Zion for Bam Adebayo swap. So just like that, we have a whole new look here for this Miami Heat team. I was kind of expecting to just full on tank and rebuild, but even if this team sucks, we're going to have our draft pick this next season and the season after that. So we've gotten younger, which I think was the best way to go about things. Flo Ware will also be a really good fit next to Zion too. So yeah, this is interesting. I didn't expect to have Zion in this rebuild, but once it popped up, it caught my attention and I couldn't go away from it. Now, would the Pelicans do that? That's the one I'm not sure about. I think the Miami Heat would do that. Maybe I'm wrong, though. Maybe they wouldn't. I don't know. But regardless, we've done it. There's no going back now. With the 18th overall pick, clearly from the Golden State Warriors with the Jimmy Butler trade. So I do think I am going to take Jace Richardson here. We just traded away Herro. Obviously bring in Ivy, but Jace Richardson could maybe become a backup or something one day. So welcome. Player options, Jovic and Jaquez, which are two guys that will be playing rotational minutes next year for us with how young we've gotten. And then Davion Mitchell, I meant to extend the offer on him, but they're still interested in bringing him back if we can. But free agency, so Davion Mitchell, we still have his bird rights, and he's restricted, so we have the ability to match any offer he gets. But let's take a look at the team now. So Rozier's only going to be here for one more year. Same thing with Duck and Robinson. Pell Larson's going to be playing quite a bit. Robinson should regress to where he's out of the rotation entirely. Same thing with Rozier, Jaime Jaquez, and Wiggins. So Wiggins is going to remain for now, but we may trade him at the deadline. I guess it just kind of depends. He's also an expiring, so we could just get off his contract next year. We obviously have Zion now, and Slow-Mo still here, and then Khalil Ware is going to be our starting center next year. So I think we obviously got to bring on Davion Mitchell back, which I'm cool with. I'm going to give Davion Mitchell a 3-year deal. Going to be very cheap to bring him in. And then I'm going to bring in a backup center such as, we could bring in, like, I guess, a Kevon Looney who, closed the game out tonight in that final possession. But Davion Mitchell, Kevon Looney, so let's bring them in. And, whoops, I don't want to, well, I guess I might be getting Davion Mitchell on a 1-year deal. So that's fine. That sucks, not what I really wanted, but whatever. So we'll have Davion Mitchell on a 1-year deal, and this is what your team's going to look like going into next year. So an Ivy and Zion pairing has been made in Miami. So very interesting. So player progression, we have a lot of guys coming back on their qualifying offers. Zion's up to a 90, 83 Jaden Ivey, 82 Khalil Ware, 82 Wiggins, 80 Davion Mitchell, 70 Jaime Jaquez, and 76 Kevon Looney. And then you have Robinson and Anderson regressing. Rozier actually stayed the same, which I was surprised by. But all right, let's get into this rotation for next season. This is going to be an interesting one with Herro and Bam Adebayo gone. I fully expected to just try to get draft capital. But again, this actually probably fits better because Miami is not a team that usually just tanks and rebuilds. So I guess this isn't going to be really a tanking season for us. We're probably going to be in the conversation of maybe having an opportunity to, be in the dance for the playoffs this year with Zion and Jaden Ivey. But I guess we'll see. So Power Rank lists us 16th overall, which isn't too bad after we just traded our two best players away. But we got a 3.5 balance system, or do we leave this at pace and space, which is 3 stars. So I do think I am going to move this to balance at the end of the day, and we'll see what that is looking like after we move Spoelstra's system to balance as well. But Spoelstra with Zion and Ivy would definitely be interesting. So let's see how this would look, what this would look like. So we got Davion Mitchell, Jaden Ivey, Andrew Wiggins, Zion, and Khalil Ware. To me, it's a fun starting 5. Jaime Jaquez, Jovic, Kevon Looney, and Pell Larson is a rotation, which I am totally fine with. Drew Smith, Rozier, and yeah, so here's the rest of your bench. Obviously, Jace Richardson not getting minutes quite yet, but maybe in the future. So Ivy and Zion, what are their shot tendencies? Obviously, these guys need to be the ones that are scoring here. So Ivy's is a 79. I'll push this up just a tad bit, and I'll leave it at that. So I'm not really sure what to expect this year. I'm pretty much expecting us to not be very good, but also wouldn't surprise me if we were good. So I guess it just all depends on what happens. So I will see you guys at the end of year 1 with Herro and Bam gone. We might be in the playoffs. We may be in the lottery. I'm cool with either one because at the end of the day, we have our pick, even if we miss the playoffs. But if we're in the playoffs, that's even better. So enough yapping. I will see you guys at the end of year number 1. So Shea wins MVP, Cooper Flagg is a Rookie of the Year, RJ Barrett is your 6-man Giannis Offensive Player, Riche Most Improved, and Devin Booker is your Clutch Player, and Tom Thibodeau is your Coach of the Year, and Executive goes to Nathan Mack. So here's your All-NBA first team with Shea, Jokic, Luka, Giannis, and Embiid. Here's your All-NBA second team and All-NBA third team. So we don't have anybody representing for us just yet, but maybe in due time, Zion will make one of those teams. So we do end up in the play-in tournament, which is where Miami has been, obviously. I was kind of hoping to tank the end of the season, but unfortunately, we made ourselves into the playoffs, or I guess the play-in, rather. But if we lose here, it would not hurt my feelings. So we had Rozier average 24 points per game, Jaden Ivey, and I will tell you, he probably averaged 24 because I will admit I tried to pull a fast one towards the end of the season where I benched Ivy and Zion to try to tank the season away. It did not work. As you can see, Rozier decided to go off. That's probably why we started winning games. But whatever. It's fine. I just wanted to be in the lottery really badly because we were just a play-in team. Now, if it would have been like a legit playoff team, I would have left it alone. But it didn't work out. So we get to be in the play-in, and we play the Orlando Magic. So battle of the Florida teams. Low-key, I'm kind of hoping I lose here because we would still be in the lottery. And that gives us the ability to use it on something else. And we do lose. Let's go. 128 to 121. I think that's the best way to go about things anyway. I really didn't want to be in the playoffs this year. Getting this lottery pick gives us an extra asset to use, and I can't wait. So Thunder beat the Knicks in 7, and I don't know what we're going to do with this pick yet, but I just wanted it for an extra asset to use, like I said. So we are projected to get, actually we have a 3% chance of getting #1 overall, which is better than I initially thought it would be. So let's see if we get lucky. So the Lakers with a 0.5% chance are going to stay at 14, so that's going to be their pick. But I'm going to watch till 10 to see if our pick just luckily jumps up. The odds of it happening are probably very slim, but it's at least interesting to look at. So the Bucks be in New Orleans. So it's a pick swap, I think, between those two teams. Chicago, 2% chance, and it is going to stay. Fingers crossed our pick jumps up for no reason at all. Would be amazing. 3% chance, and it does not. So very anticlimactic, but the Thunder have Philadelphia's pick, which I believe that's protected, actually. Pelicans get #2 overall via the Bucks, which is something that we may be expecting because the Bucks may implode this offseason. That should be an interesting offseason rebuild. There's going to be a ton of options because there's 4 games tonight as you guys are watching this video. So there'll probably be at least one team eliminated tonight if I had to guess. But yeah, so there's quite a few draft picks I need to fix because as you see, every single pick in the top 5, top 7 actually, is, you know, owed from another team. So we have the 10th pick, which is still a top 10 pick, so we can't complain. But do we trade it or do we draft? That will be the question. But let me go fix some of these draft picks that are not correct. So none of those draft picks are fixed. We're just going to simply draft with #10 overall as AJ's headed to Philly, Peterson to New Orleans. We got Washington getting Boozer, Phoenix getting Caleb Wilson. Renas goes. Hopefully he's okay. I know there was an incident with him the other day, but I think he's in better spirits now. Blake Thomas to the Blazers, and then Micah to the Hornets. Okay, so we have Koa Pete, which actually isn't a bad option at this point. We also could take a guard, which I actually don't hate the idea of taking Mikal Brown here because we could use a future point guard in the worst way possible. So I am going to go ahead and take Mikal Brown here with his 10th overall selection. And our second round pick is just, or the next pick is just a second. So I'll let the assistant GM deal with that, which we get Sid Gay. So welcome, Mikal Brown and City. Okay, so we got Wiggins, team option, which I'm going to decline, I think. $30 million. I actually don't know. Are we going to have cap space? I think we will because Ivy is a free agent. And oh my gosh, actually, we should have a ton of money. Well, I mean, Rozier. Oh, wait. Whoa. What am I looking at right now? Wait, this must be a cap hold, right? Surely this is a cap hold. Zion, I didn't give Rozier 39. What? I've never seen it look like that before. That must just be a cap hold, right? Okay, I think it is. I was freaking out there for a second. So I'm going to accept all of these, but I do think there's a chance we might have a little bit of cap space to just sign a free agent, which we are Miami. So that is definitely a possibility. We could get a free agent here to Miami because that's what Miami is. So let's first off renounce Wiggins cap hold. Let's renounce both these cap holds for damn sure. We're not bringing either of them back. We can renounce these, renounce this. Looney, we're not bringing back. Probably Jovic. I'll leave these three for now. But all right. So I want to keep Ivy if possible, but if we can get a good free agent here, you know, we got to think about it. So Zion is the guy here. Everyone else is on a very small contract other than Kyle Anderson, who is still making quite a bit of money. But I feel like I could probably dump that pretty quickly. But we have $28 million in cap room, but it's probably more than that. Ivy's going to get a contract from us. And then so Mikael Brown, who just got drafted. Jaime Jaquez in last year's rookie deal. Chloe is still on a good deal. We're hoping Richardson could step up into something. Then Pelle Larsson also be interesting. Richardson. Okay, we'll see. So if there was a free agent I would sign, obviously Luka would be fun. But, I mean, does 2K... I mean, it technically says we have that much money. So I think we can bring in Ivy and another good player, which doesn't sound too bad because Ivy shouldn't be asking for that much money, I don't think. Jaden Ivey, where is he? He's asking for 35, but I think I could probably get him cheaper for pretty cheaper than that. So we'll see. So Durant, no. I would prefer to keep it on kind of a young timeline still. So there's Kessler, there's Giddey, no. Duran, no. Cam Thomas, no. John Collins, Jabari, Tari Eason, Shaden Sharp, Ivy. Okay, so we might be scrolling down quite a bit. Benedict Mathurin, Bobby Portis, Sohan Kuminga, I guess, is an interesting. Mitchell. So now we're kind of scraping towards the bottom of the barrel at the moment. I don't know. Maybe there's the ability to trade for someone as well and just absorb them in what we have going on right now, because I don't really love the options here. I want to resign Jaden Ivey, but I do want to bring in another player to make this team even better. So if I don't see anything in the trade market, I'll show you who we're just going to sign a free agency to pair alongside Zion and Jaden Ivey. So we have the guy we're going after. It's going to be Tari Eason. We actually technically need somebody at that small forward spot. So Tari Eason to me sounds like a nice little bargain to bring in as our starting small forward. He's listed at 85 overall right now, but I kind of like the idea of him. So we do have to renounce, I think, both these guys. Well, I guess maybe only have to renounce one of them. So can we keep Davion Mitchell? Who would I rather keep is the question. I actually think, I don't know, I'd love to keep both of them if possible, but I think I'd prefer to keep Davion Mitchell, I guess, if I had to choose. So Tari Eason, and then we'll renounce Jovic, and then we should be able to get Mitchell and Ivy back. So that's kind of be the game plan. So now Mitchell we should have him on a 3-year deal already, but 2K for whatever reason glitched out. So he should be so much cheaper right now on a 3-year deal, but 2K made him sign a 1-year deal last year, which was quite annoying. But I hopefully should be able to sign him, and then we'll hopefully be able to get Ivy back as well. Now, I want to get Ivy for cheaper than what he's asking for right now. So we'll see what Mitchell says eventually. So we don't have to renounce Ivy yet, but I'm going to take Ivy to the last day of free agency and see if we can get him for a little bit cheaper than what he's asking. So now we have kind of an interesting team. So we'll go 4-year deal. I think 25 feels fair. Something like this I think would feel fair for him. So we'll go Ivy on a 4-year deal. We'll take that. So we got Zion, Ivy up to an 87, and then Tari Eason, which once we move him to the 3, he'll go up to an 87. So that feels great to have him added too. So obviously we're kind of embracing the idea of Zion being our number 1 option along with Ivy, and then Tari Eason is going to be kind of a role player. Chloe's up to an 84, Mitchell, and then we're also going to be banking on Mikael Brown developed quite a bit. We drafted him, and I've seen him develop pretty well before. So I'm expecting to give him a lot of minutes going into this next season, and we'll see how it works out for us. Richardson might be ready to play, which is nice, and Pelle Larsson's ready to play too. This will be interesting, but I'm excited for this season coming up in year 2. I don't know if we're contenders yet, but we're getting closer for sure. So Pairing lands is 7th overall, which feels pretty good to see. We're 3.5 balance, so we're not up to what I, would hope, but still 3.5 is not bad. So we have Davion Mitchell, Jaden Ivey, Tari Eason, Zion, Chloe, Pelle Larsson, Jaime Jaquez, Richardson, and Mikael Brown as rotation. So I'm hoping this team could really, prove to what I'm trying to make it into, and we'll see how it goes. Shot tendencies once again. So we got Zion's tendency being pretty high, and then Ivy's shot tendency is really high too, and then Richardson's is really high off the bench too. I'm going to bring this down quite a bit. I don't know if I need Richardson to be this good for us. Mikal Brown's is pretty high, which I like the idea of that, because I want him to become a starting point guard for us one day if possible. And then I think I'll leave the rest the way they are. So let's simulate this second season. If I stop at the deadline to show you any type of moves, I will, obviously show you what we're doing. But so far, the season's off to a terrific start. So we'll see if we can't keep that going. I'll see you guys hopefully in the playoffs as a top seed in this Eastern Conference. So Jokic wins MVP, AJ is your Rookie of the Year, Kawhi is your sixth man, Wemby Defensive Player, Vječko Most Improved, and Jokic is your Clutch Player, and Chris Finch is your Coach of the Year, and Nathan Mack is your Executive. So I decided not to make any moves at the deadline because the team was playing way too well for me to shake things up. Zion makes an All-NBA second team, so he is really living up to what we wanted him to become for us, and it's working out extremely well so far. And then we have no All-NBA third team representatives, which is all good. We do get Tari Eason making an all-defensive team, though, so it looked like he was well worth the buy. 36% from 3, 14 points per game. Obviously, we paid him a lot of money. A lot more than I would love to pay him. Yeah, it's a little too much, but still. Mikal Brown makes an all-rookie second team right out of the gate, which is nice. He averaged 8 points, 38% from off the bench. But the team it gelled extremely well. We're the third team in the East, and funny enough, we get to play the team that, I guess, sent us into a retool or rebuild. I said I was going to reset things, but I really didn't do that. I pretty much, I guess, retooled it in a way, I don't know. I don't know what I really did, but I made some trades, and we got good really fast, I guess. So let's look at the stats all around, though, before we jump into these playoffs. So you had Zion with 27, which is awesome. Ivy with 22, 14 from Tari Eason, 12 and 10 from Chloe Ware. I remember bringing in Zion in the Bulls video as well, but he did leave me because my dumb self wasn't paying attention, and he left me in free agency. If we ever reach free agency with Zion, I'm making sure he resigns this time. But we should have no problems. We're in Miami, and he would love it there. So, again, joke from earlier, I'm not really sure Miami would be the best place for him to go, but here he is nonetheless. So, let's play this team, though, the Cleveland Cavaliers, who just embarrassed the Miami Heat in real life. We got the same team. They have Keldon Johnson off the bench now with Okoro, Tyson, and Strus, and D'Angelo Russell. So an interesting bench, but let's see if we can't take them out. Alrighty then. So the same song and dance literally just happened in front of our eyes. We got swept. So that was not great. So that sucks. Okay, well, not really what I wanted to see, but the Jazz and the Cavaliers, the Cavs made it all the way to the finals, and the Jazz beat them in 5. So Cooper Flag is your finals MVP. Damn, so the regular season went so well for us, and then we just got absolutely demolished in the postseason again. Not really what I wanted to see or expect. Now, our pick is going to the Hornets this offseason, so no pick for us, as Charlotte will win it from the, I guess, the Rozier trade. They'll finally get it. So, Spoelstra, is it time for you to go? No, it's not. I'm going to leave him. So, let's go to draft night. We have no draft pick, like I mentioned. We may have a pick from some other team because Detroit, we traded with Detroit earlier, but looks like we don't have, so no, not, I may have traded that pick away. I don't remember, but regardless, it didn't go well. But one thing we have in our back pocket is we have Mikal Brown's development. We have Chloe Ware's development. So the team is only going to continue to get better, but still getting swept is not a great sign by any means. So that was not great. Ware and Richardson will accept, and then qualifying offers. Larson and Jaime Jaquez are both free agents. There could be interest in bringing them back, but we'll have to see how it goes. Free agency, we have, Jaime Jaquez, Slow-Mo, and Pelle Larson all as free agents. So I think if I'm going to bring one of these guys back, I'm probably going to be choosing Pelle Larson if I had to guess. I think that would be where I go with this, potentially, but we'll see before I make any rash decisions. So what we got? We got Davion Mitchell, Mikal Brown. We have Jace Richardson and also Ivy. So the guard rotation to me looks fine. Our Eason's the 3, Zion's the 4, and Chloe Ware's the 5 right now. All that looks great. We need a legitimate bench 5-man, and we need a legitimate bench front court, basically. So let's go see if we can make that happen. We're going to go ahead and sign Aaron Wiggins to start things off, who got waived, I guess. So we'll see if he ends up choosing us. I have no idea if he plans on doing that or not. I mean, he has one offer, so he should choose us. And then again, I think I am going to settle on Pelle Larsson to be the guy we go for. So Pelle Larsson and Aaron Wiggins is going to be our offers. Technically, we could still bring in Jaime Jaquez as well, but we'll see. And then we have, so I guess we could bring in like Exum, but probably in our best interest to resign Jaquez just to bring him in. But I'm going to do the good old trick to where we take this to as far as possible to get him for as cheap as possible. That way we're not running into a brick wall when we have to resign like Chloe and stuff. It's going to be very expensive here soon. So Jaime Jaquez on like a 2-year deal, 11.5 to me sounds fine. So bring him in, and progression is going to be where things will be interesting. I did not bring in a center because of a certain player. So Mikal Brown's already up to an 80, which is great. Richardson is up, Mitchell is up, Chloe is up, Ivy and Zion are down, which is not great. But Sid Gee is up, or Gay, however you say it, is up to a 76 overall, which is promising. But we'll see if we want to stay patient with it. And when we cross the trade deadline, we could probably use like Jaquez's contract or somebody's contract to bring in a new backup 5 if we wanted to. All right, we're going to go to next season. I mean, regular season went super well, so we're pretty much expecting kind of the same thing again. But Mikal Brown's going to have a bigger role this year at that. More than likely, might be starting at point guard. Maybe he still is out, outmatched by Davion Mitchell. But we'll see, man. Let's go look at this rotation. We're finally up to a 4-star balance, and it does look like they still want to start Davion Mitchell, which I'm not opposed to. That's fine. So Mitchell, Ivy, Eason, Zion, and Chloe. I still like the starting 5 a lot. I think it fits very well. But I'm not opposed to shakeups at the deadline. And now Aaron Wiggins isn't even getting involved at all, which feels kind of weird. Although, what we could do is we could move Aaron Wiggins to 3. He'd probably go up over Pelle Larsson. He's up to an 81, so I guess that's probably the best way to go about that. 9-man rotation. That leaves, Pelle Larsson, or leaves, I guess, Mikal Brown out of the rotation, which I hate the idea of that. I don't want to do that. So I guess we go 10-man deep. And I think we got to make some type of move at the deadline. We need a consolidation trade. This team, if we can get a consolidation trade going, we should be in a really good position. We're under the aprons as well. So we have all the ability in the world to do whatever we want. As far as draft capital is concerned, I believe we have pretty much everything at our disposal here. So yeah, I think deadline, we should try to be aggressive. We should be a good simulation team again, but maybe last year was just a fluke as we're off to a really rough start so far. But maybe it'll turn around. And we'll see what the options are at the deadline, because there's just way too many assets and way too many things we have going right now that I don't think we can just sit at the deadline and do nothing. So we're 20 and 21 at the trade deadline, and as I told you guys, I didn't want to sit at this deadline and do absolutely nothing. I mean, I just feel like there's too much things we could do to make happen, basically. So I have a couple of ideas in mind, and they're pretty much at point guard in specific. I won't lie to you. So there's 3 options here. LaMelo Ball, rebuilding, the Hornets are anyway, 24 and 28. So we could pair Zion and LaMelo, which I love the idea of that. We also have Halliburton in Indiana. Don't hate that idea either. And then the last option is Ja Morant in Memphis. So a lot of different ways we could go about this. I think my favorite one is probably... well, I mean, you really can't go wrong with either. LaMelo or Hallie, I'd be fine with either. I guess LaMelo feels a little bit more realistic based off where Charlotte is right now. So I'm going to see if we can't bring in LaMelo to Miami to, be paired with Zion. So let's see if we can make an offer with the Hornets that would make sense for them. So let's go ahead, give them, we want LaMelo, obviously. But I think I'd be fine with trading Jaden Ivey. The reason why is because Richardson could step up in his spot, and he's averaging 15 points per game, 41% from 3. So he's pretty much exactly what we could use at the 2-guard spot. Jaden Ivey, I appreciate your time here, but if we can get LaMelo Ball, I think we got to do it. And then we offer what? Like Pelle Larsson or Jaquez is the question. Jaquez would probably go up at the 3, and he is taller. So I think I'm going to offer Pelle Larsson in this trade, although they can't potentially maybe take this. Maybe. What about Rob Newman? Okay, so Ivy and Pelle Larsson. And I'll give you my 2028 unprotected, my 2031, and my 2032. So I guess it should be 2030, right? To, do the Stepien thing. There we go. So 3 first-rounders. I'd like to give another young player too, but I don't know if they'll be able to do that. So Sid was an option, and I still might want to upgrade my backup 5 position at this deadline too. So would they just do this? 3 first, Pelle Larsson, and Ivy for LaMelo? The done deal. LaMelo Ball is on the Miami Heat. So LaMelo Ball is now a member of the Miami Heat, which is going to be interesting. Now, Mitchell, to me, becomes a little bit more expendable because I do kind of want to bring in a new back. I just realized Bradley Beal's on our team, but I want to bring in a new backup 5. I think that's what I really want to do here. So we get that done. I think there's a possibility to win a championship this year, so I'm all for it. Plenty of backup 5 options popping up at us. We got Mitchell Robinson and Terrence Shannon, which Terrence Shannon, bringing him in is not a bad idea for Minnesota. Clint Capella is an option, and then there's Jakob Poeltl and Quentin Post. That's 2 centers. And then we have Gafford and Daron Reed. So I think I'm going to do this one, though. So it sucks to give up on City, but I think we're going for it right now. And Gafford on a 2-year deal would be a really good backup 5. It sucks to trade Mitchell away, but we have our point guard with LaMelo. So boom, 28 and 21 at the trade deadline. We just shook things up as I promised you guys. So now we have LaMelo, Richardson, Tari Eason, Zion, Khalil Ware, Gafford, Hawkes, Wiggins, and Mikael Brown, and then Reed. We'll continue to run an rotation, and we'll rock with that. So I will see you guys at the end of this season, and I'm hoping with LaMelo being brought in, LaMelo and Zion can go win a championship for this Miami Heat team. But we shall see how it goes. I'm not really sure how it will happen, but I'm hoping it does. The Wembanyama wins MVP. McCoy is a Rookie of the Year. Will Riley, 6th man in Minnesota, Wemby Defensive Player, and Richardson wins Most Improved. It makes sense. We, free the shooting guard spot for him. I mean, he's kind of exactly the prototype we wanted starting there. I would like if he was a little bit taller, obviously, but shooting 40% from 3 and 16 points per game, really can't complain about that as a, just spot guy. So, LaMelo Ball makes All-NBA second team representing Miami. Does Zion make it with him somewhere? No, unfortunately not. So Melo and Zion, though, is a fun pairing. I think I did a video on that a long time ago in Charlotte, but it'd be fun if, I don't know, if somehow they ended up in Miami together. Probably not going to happen, obviously, but 13 points from Easton, 11 from Miami Hawkes, 16 from Richardson, 23 from Zion, and 24 from LaMelo. And we did capture that first seed as we were kind of close to it anywhere at the deadline with the team we had. So now we'll see if we can't go out here and go deep in the playoffs. So we draw Charlotte, funny enough, which we just made the trade with them at the deadline, which is interesting because they were just rebuilt. I guess they made it out of the play-in. So there you go. So we got Ace Bailey, Brendan Miller, Hardenstein, Braden Burries, Jaden Ivey, Nick Smith, and Tijon Salon. So somebody come around against Charlotte and LaMelo Ball's former team, we will sweep them. So now we play Toronto. Toronto, always a tough out as well. So we'll see how this one's going to go. Game 1 goes to us, 140-104. They even it up. Game 3 goes to them. Please even the series. There we go. 3-2 lead. Yes, beat them in 6. Yes, we're in the conference finals. Okay. Now we play the Chicago Bulls, who have Luka Doncic. We can never rule out Luka Doncic giving me issues. But here we go. Game 1 goes to us. Beat them by 28 points. But all right, can we beat them in Game 2? Yes, we can. 30 from Zion. Game 3, 113-106. Luka Doncic has been quiet, I believe. What is he doing in this series? I mean, he's averaged 26 in the playoffs, but I feel like I haven't seen any outbursts from him. But can we sweep them? No. And we beat them in 5. I was about to say, please do not blow 3-0 lead. But we have captured ourselves in the finals. So now we can play Minnesota or Utah. And the Jazz might be looking to come back on them. And they do not. Edwards says no. So LaMelo Ball versus Anthony Edwards. Same draft class. I think we just saw this in an offseason rebuild, but things were a lot different in that Hornets video. I think that's what it was anyway. So Minnesota has Dillingham, Edwards, McDaniels, Ace Noel, Robinson, Will Riley, Alexander Walker, and Jalen Clark. But can we prevail here? Game 1 goes to us, beat them by 20. Game 2, they even it up. Game 3 goes to them. Can we simcast and even the series in Game 4? Or did we make it to the finals just to fold here? And it's looking like it's going to be relatively a close Game 4, but we will win and even the series. Okay, let's see if we can't win Game 5 in Minnesota to push them back to Miami for Game 6. We'd be at home to close the series, but so far they've had the number. We've climbed back in it, but we never really got close to taking the lead back. Okay, we're in Miami for this Game 6. All we got to do is force a Game 7. Looking like that's not going to happen, though. So it looks like we are going to fall short of our goal. Unless, yeah, no, we lose. So Minnesota is going to go on to win the championship. Anthony Edwards is their finals MVP. I think I want to run it back one more time with this current core just because it deserves one more chance. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to go one more year. We'll end it off on whatever the results are next year. So here we are in this final season, and there was some awards I needed to show you, as Mikael Brown wins sixth man of the year, I should say, and then he also won most improved player too. So shout out to Mikael Brown, really bringing it on here, as it looks like we won coach of the year as well. LaMelo Ball, all NBA second team, and here's your all NBA third team, all defense first team, and all defense second team. So we are the first team in the East again, and here are your player stats. Whoops, not rookie report. Player stats, if we can get there. So you had 22 from Zion, 21 from LaMelo, 19 from Mikael Brown, 19 from Richardson. Shout out to Jace Richardson. 13.5 from Tari Eason, and 10.5 from Chloe Ware. So here it goes, nothing, as Mikael Brown's up to an 86 overall, and Chloe Ware is an 87. All this is looking good, but all that matters is getting to the championship. Can we finally get revenge against Cleveland, or are they going to keep doing what they've been doing to... All right, well, Cleveland owns the Miami Heat, I guess. We lose in 7. And that is a brutal way for this video to end, but it is the way this video will end. So Cleveland gets all the way to the finals, by the way, too. And they lose to the Timberwolves. So who knows? We probably wouldn't beat the Timberwolves anyway. So our chance to win a championship was last year, and it didn't work out. That's how it goes sometimes. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'm definitely curious to see what the Miami Heat do in real life this offseason. Will they finally hit the reset button, or will they be star shopping, or will they just stay above water and tread? Whatever. I don't know. We'll see. Thank y'all for watching. This is Crushables. I'm saying... Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you click here to watch another video that I know you'll love.